The countries that make up Southeast Asia are Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and Singapore. The Mekong River, flowing through Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and the Chao Phraya River in Thailand have helped shape settlement and economic patterns. Most of Southeast Asia is rural, but its largest cities, Jakarta in Indonesia, Bangkok in Thailand, and Manila in the Philippines, are among the world's most populous. Deep in the heart of Cambodia's forest sits the ancient city of Angkor. Beginning in the 9th century, a dynasty of Khmer kings ruled from Angkor, one of the largest and most prosperous kingdoms in the history of Southeast Asia. The city was abandoned in the 15th century. Covering an area of over 125 square miles, hundreds of temples range from single brick towers to vast stone complexes adorned with magnificent sculptures. The ruins include Angkor Wat, built in the 12th century to honor the Hindu god Vishnu. The supreme masterpiece of Khmer architecture, Angkor Wat remains the largest religious structure in the world. For hundreds of years, Angkor was a lost city. In 1860, French colonialist Henri Mahaut rediscovered its temples. Archaeologists cleared thick vegetation from the monuments, but years of warfare and civil strife followed, threatening to completely destroy the city. Today, excavation and restoration continue, so that Angkor will be around for centuries as Southeast Asia's extraordinary marvel.
Vietnam is located on the eastern coastline of the Southeast Asian peninsula and is bordered by China to the north, Laos and Cambodia to the west, and by the Gulf of Tonkin, the South China Sea, and the Gulf of Thailand. Most of Vietnam's 81 million people live in either the Red River Delta in the north or the Mekong Delta in the south. These two deltas are some of the most productive rice-growing areas in the entire world. Most people who live here make their living by farming. They live simply and value their traditions and culture. One of these traditions is a system of moral teachings that come from neighboring China, called Confucianism. Confucius was a Chinese sage and teacher. His teachings stressed the importance of family and how family members should care for one another. The Vietnamese took the virtues of family expressed in Confucianism to heart. Traditionally, men are considered the leaders of the family. Women work alongside the men. They also raise the children and often manage the family finances. But family doesn't just mean parents and kids to Vietnamese villagers. A single house often has parents, children, grandparents, in-laws, and other relatives all under the same roof. North and South Vietnam used to be at war with one another. After 30 years of fighting, the Communist North took over the US-backed South in 1975. The country is still recovering from the long war. Poverty is a big problem, even in the cities. Families here often get split up and have to live wherever they can. Life in the city is different from life in the country in other ways too. During the war, the communist government strictly controlled the flow of information. Now, new information sources have sprung up and changed the way people think. Western beliefs, like individualism and personal expression, have become more popular in the cities, and the population is also getting a better education now. As they become more educated, people are more likely to move away from the countryside for good, in search of success in the cities. But despite these differences, family is still important to city dwellers. Many people, like this retired man, open shops out of their homes to earn money. With this money, they can help support their extended families, just like the people in villages do. So although city life and village life are getting more and more different, one thing is likely to stay the same: the Vietnamese belief in the importance of family.
Thailand is located in the center of Southeast Asia. It consists of a large northern region and a long, narrow southern region. The northern region is bordered by Myanmar to the west, Laos to the north and east, Cambodia to the southeast, and the Gulf of Thailand to the south. The southern region borders Myanmar in the north, the Andaman Sea on the west, Malaysia in the south, and the Gulf of Thailand on the east. Mountains dominate the Thai landscape in the north and west. The main feature in the east is the Korat Plateau. And in the west central area, it's the Chao Phraya River Basin. Thailand's capital, Bangkok, is located on the Chao Phraya River, about 25 miles inland from the Gulf of Thailand. Most Thai people live in small towns and villages. Nearly all of them, 95%, are Buddhist. In Bangkok alone stand more than 400 Buddhist temples. King Rama I of the Chakri dynasty made Bangkok the capital in 1782, when he built a royal palace. Surrounded by walls, the vast Grand Palace complex covers about 60 acres. Inside the palace grounds are government offices, royal residences, and a chapel devoted to the Emerald Buddha. Carved from a large block of jade rather than emerald, the statue is a focus of national religious pride. Thousands of Thai citizens and world travelers come here every year to pay their respects to Buddha.
Laos and Cambodia are neighboring countries located on the Indo-Chinese Peninsula in Southeast Asia. Cambodia is bordered by Thailand on the west and northwest, Laos on the northeast, Vietnam on the east and southeast, and the Gulf of Thailand to the southwest. Laos is bounded by China on the north, Vietnam on the northeast and east, on the west by Thailand, and on the northwest by Myanmar. The capital of Cambodia is Phnom Penh, and the capital of Laos is Vientiane. The Mekong River, the longest river in Southeast Asia, begins in the Tibetan highlands and travels through Laos to Cambodia. Cambodia is extremely rich in biodiversity, with 35% forest cover. The Tonle Sap, one of the world's richest sources of freshwater fish, countless rivers, dense tropical rainforest, and wetlands. The country is home to more than 20 endangered and rare animal species: Asian elephants, Indo-Chinese tigers, sun bears, pangolins, and snakes. But massive wildlife poaching has destroyed much of Cambodia's wildlife, and it remains a constant threat. Poachers kill or trap animals in the wild for sale to distributors and shippers. In turn, they sell the animals to restaurants and medicine shops. Asia has a long tradition of consuming animal products for health benefits. Animal parts are often used in traditional medicines. This type of animal trade is illegal. In Cambodia, wildlife conservation groups and the government are working to break up such operations and return animals to the wild. But for many people in Cambodia and Southeast Asia, poaching may be their only source of income. Conservation groups are also working to educate people about the effects of poaching on the environment and to help people find other ways to support their families. The Philippines is an archipelago or island group in Southeast Asia that encompasses 7,000 small islands. The Philippines are bounded by the South China Sea to the west, the Luzon Strait to the north, the Philippine Sea to the east, and the Sulu and Celebes Seas to the south. The islands cover 1,150 miles north to south and 700 miles east to west. The area of the Philippines is slightly larger than Arizona. Its terrain is mostly mountainous, but it has coastal plains too. Mount Apo on Mindanao Island is the country's highest point. Manila, the capital of the Philippines, is on Luzon, the largest island. The people who inhabit the Philippines, nearly 85 million, are called Filipinos. Their official languages are Filipino and English, and most of them are Roman Catholic. The islands are named after the Spanish King Philip II, who established the first permanent settlement there in 1565. Spain gave control of the Philippines to the United States in 1898 at the end of the Spanish-American War. After Japanese occupation during World War II, the Philippines gained independence in 1946. As a result of its history and location, Philippine culture blends Eastern and Western influences. The Pahiyas Festival honors San Isidro Labrador, the patron saint of farmers. The harvests are displayed in front of farmers' homes, and households try to outdo each other with their decorations and creativity. The festival began in 1595, and it remains a traditional celebration of Thanksgiving for bountiful harvests.
We are the winners!
Divided into two regions, Malaysia is located in Southeast Asia. East Malaysia and West Malaysia are separated by the South China Sea. East Malaysia shares the island of Borneo with Indonesia and Brunei. It borders the South China Sea and Brunei to the north, the Sulu Sea to the northeast, and Indonesia to the south. West Malaysia is bordered on the north by Thailand, on the south by Singapore, and to the east and west by the South China Sea. Although it makes up only 31% of the country's area, West Malaysia has more than 80% of the population. East Malaysia has a flat coastal plain, an inland hill and valley region, and plateaus, ravines, and mountain ranges. The capital, Kuala Lumpur, is located in West Malaysia. Lying close to the equator, Malaysia has a tropical, rainy climate. More than 2/3 of the land area is forest with extremely dense vegetation. An acre of forest may have as many as 100 species of trees, shrubs, and other plant life. It is hot and humid all year, and temperatures stay between 68 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is usually a steamy 90%. Many people in Malaysia live in rural areas. They clear small parts of the forest for farming. Subsistence agriculture is the way 20% of Malaysians make their living. Malaysia has one of the highest standards of living in Southeast Asia. The Malay are Malaysia's largest ethnic group, accounting for over half the population. Its cities are vibrant and prosperous. But like many of the world's developing nations, rural poverty is a problem in this scenic, lush country.
Australia is the world's smallest continent. The whole country is about the size of the United States, not counting Alaska and Hawaii, and it separates the Indian Ocean from the South Pacific Ocean. While the United States has 50 states, Australia only has 6, along with 2 territories: the Australian Capital Territory, New South Wales, the Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Western Australia, and Victoria. Not surprisingly, this vast country has many different geographical features and climates. Most Australians live in the northeast part of the continent, where the weather is pleasant and mild. The state of Queensland, in northeast Australia, has some of the best grazing land on the continent. Because of its weather, Queensland is the home to many of Australia's sheep and cattle farms. Queensland is also home to the Great Barrier Reef, the largest coral reef on Earth. Many of Australia's sheep farms are also in the states of Victoria and New South Wales on the southeast corner of the continent. The area's mild climate and water from the Campaspe and Mitta rivers have made southeastern Australia the breadbasket of this desert country. The Northern Territory lies in the middle of the Australian continent, far away from the east coast. While the northern part of the state is close to the Arafura Sea and has a tropical climate, the southern part of the state is a dry desert covered with freestanding rocks. Looking at a map, you can see that South Australia is right under the Northern Territory. Like its neighbor, the northern part of South Australia is covered by mountains and deserts. But the southeastern part of the state is different from the northern part of the state. It has a mild climate that is ideal for raising sheep, wheat, and barley. Western Australia is the largest state on the continent. Most of this state has a desert landscape, just like parts of the Northern Territory and South Australia. And like its neighbors, the differences in the state's climate and geography are varied. The far northern part of the state has a tropical climate. Rain falls regularly, and the climate is ideal for animals that eat plants to survive, as well as the animals that eat them. But the Southwest has a milder climate, which makes it easier for farmers to grow crops and raise sheep. Different climates and geographic features make Australia a diverse continent. From its lush farmlands to its barren deserts, this Australia is truly a world of its own.
New Zealand is an island nation in the Pacific Ocean, located 1,000 miles southeast of Australia. It is comprised of the North Island and the South Island, as well as a number of small islands. The capital of New Zealand is Wellington, located at the southern tip of the North Island. It is the world's southernmost national capital. It is also home to New Zealand's Lake Taupo, a volcanic crater. In the Southern Alps on South Island rises Mount Cook, New Zealand's highest point. New Zealand's natural beauty includes rugged landscapes, glacial mountains, fast-flowing rivers, and deep, clear lakes. Abundant forest reserves and long, deserted beaches complete the picture. Comparable in area to Colorado, New Zealand is home to just 3.8 million people, making it one of the world's least crowded countries. New Zealanders appreciate the outdoors. Many enjoy hiking, mountaineering, rafting, and bungee jumping. The Maori were New Zealand's first settlers, arriving by way of canoe from Polynesia more than 1,000 years ago. The Maori were excellent warriors. Today, the Maori make up over 14% of the population. Dutch navigator Abel Tasman was the first European to reach New Zealand in 1642. But in 1769, Captain James Cook claimed it for Britain. New Zealand is still a member of the British Commonwealth, but it's independent when it comes to foreign policy, including international trade.